Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego are the three pious Jewish youths thrown into a fiery furnace by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, when they refused to bow down to the king's image according to chapter 3 of the book of Daniel. The three are preserved from harm, and the king sees four men walking in the flames, the fourth like a son of God. The first 6 chapters of Daniel date from the late Persian, early Hellenistic period, and Daniel's absence from the tale of the Hebrew children in the fiery furnace suggests that it may originally have been independent. It forms a pair with the story of Daniel in the lion's den, both making the point that the God of the Jews will deliver those who are faithful to him. Summary: King Nebuchadnezzar set up a golden image in the plain of Durach and commanded that all his officials bow down before it. All who failed to do so would be thrown into a heated furnace. Certain officials informed the king that the three Jewish youths Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah, who bore the Babylonian names Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, and whom the king had appointed to high official positions in Babylon, were refusing to worship the golden statue. The three were brought before Nebuchadnezzar, where they informed the king that their God would be with them. Nebuchadnezzar commanded that they be thrown into the fiery furnace, heated 7 times hotter than normal. But when the king looked, he saw 4 figures, and not 3, walking unharmed in the flames. Seeing this, Nebuchadnezzar brought the youths out of the flames and promoted them to even higher office, decreeing that any who spoke against their God should be torn limb from limb. Composition and structure. Book of Daniel. It is generally accepted that the Book of Daniel originated as a collection of folk tales among the Jewish community in Babylon and Mesopotamia in the Persian and early Hellenistic periods, expanded by the visions of chapters 7 to 12 in the Maccabean era. Modern scholarship agrees that Daniel is a legendary figure. It is possible that the name was chosen for the hero of the book because of his reputation as a wise seer in Hebrew tradition. The tales are in the voice of an anonymous narrator, except for chapter 4, which is in the form of a letter from King Nebuchadnezzar. Chapter 3 is unique in that Daniel does not appear in it. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3 forms part of a chiasmus within Daniel chapters 2 to 7, paired with Daniel chapter 6, the story of Daniel in the lion's den. A dream of 4 kingdoms replaced by a 5th. B. Daniel's 3 friends in the fiery furnace. C. Daniel interprets a dream for Nebuchadnezzar. C. Daniel interprets the handwriting on the wall for Belshazzar. B. Daniel in the lion's den. A vision of 4 kingdoms replaced by a 5th. Chapters 3 and 6 contain significant differences. However, the story of the fiery furnace does not include Daniel, while the story of the lion's den does not include Daniel's friends. The first story takes place under Nebuchadnezzar and the second under Darius. And in the first story, the disobedience to the earthly ruler takes place in public, while in the second, Daniel petitions God in private. The stories thus supplement each other to make the point that the God of the Jews will deliver those who are faithful to him. Genre and themes. The legendary nature of the story is revealed by the liberal use of hyperbole, the size of the statue, the use of every kind of music, the destruction of the executioners, and the king's rage followed by his admission of the superiority of the God of Israel. The plot is a type known in folklores, the disgrace and rehabilitation of a minister, the plot of which involves a man in a state of prosperity, who is sentenced to death or prison by the plots of his enemies but vindicated and restored to honor. When Nebuchadnezzar confronts the defiant Jewish youths who refuse to submit to his will, he asks them which God will deliver them from his hands. Their reply is the theological high point of the story. Without addressing the king by his title, they tell him that the question is not whether they are willing to bow before the king's image, but whether God is present and willing to save. When the 3 are thrown into the furnace, the king sees 4 men walking in the flames, the fourth like a son of God, a divine being. Interpretation. The Hebrew names of Daniel's friends were Hananiah, Yah is gracious, Mishael, who is like God, and Azariah, Yah has helped. but by the king's decree they assigned Chaldean names, so that Hananiah became Shadrach, Mishael became Meshach, and Azariah became Abednego. Shadrach's name is possibly derived from Shujur Aku, command of Aku. Meshach is probably a variation of Meshar Aku, meaning, who is as Aku is. And Abednego is either servant of the god Nebo, Nebu, or a variation of Abednego, servant of the god Nergal. Daniel's absence from the tale of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego suggests that it may originally have been an independent story. The word Durach means simply plain or fortress, and is not any specific place. The Greek historian Herodotus mentions a golden image of the god Bel in Babylon, but the gigantic size of this statue suggests that its origins lie in folklore. Eastern Orthodox observance. The Greek version of Daniel chapter 3 inserts the Song of the Three Youths, 2 psalms, connected by a narrative emphasizing their miraculous salvation. The song is alluded to in Ode 7 and 8 of the canon, a hymn sung in the Matins service and on other occasions in the Eastern Orthodox Church, where their feast day is December 17th. The Orthodox also commemorate them on the 2 Sundays before the Nativity of Christ. The reading of the story of the fiery furnace, including the song, is prescribed for the Vesperal Divine Liturgy celebrated by the Orthodox on Holy Saturday. Likewise, the three are commemorated as prophets in the calendar of saints of the Lutheran Church on December 17th with Daniel. Popular Culture. Literature 1954. In her short story, A Circle in the Fire, Flannery O'Connor partly parallels this story, ending with the phrase, as if the prophets were dancing in the fiery furnace, in the circle the angel had cleared for them. 1955. In the play Guys and Dolls, Sky Masterson says, "Never tangle with me on the good book. In one of my blackest moments I came up with a 3-horse parlay, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego." P.G. Wodehouse often referred to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in his novels and short stories, thus using a humorous and somewhat irreverent hyperbole to describe the typically minor difficulties or mental turmoil faced by the characters in his stories. 1963. Martin Luther King Jr. references them in his letter from Birmingham jail. 1976. Robert Silverberg's science fiction novel Shadrach in the Furnace. 1989. William T. Varman's short story Scintillant Orange in the Rainbow Stories collection features the captured Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. 1999. Cartoonists Howard Mackey and John Byrne created the character Shadrach, a Spider-Man foe, cursed by being Human Torch, who never dies or burns up. Music 1930s. Shadrach, written by Robert McGimsey. 1955. Gesang der Junglinge, electronic work by Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, takes its title in some words from the story. 1966. The Burning Fiery Furnace, one of the 3 parables for church performances composed by Benjamin Britten, his Opus 77. 1966. The Abyssinians, Abednego, on the album Sata Masagana. 1968. The Fourth Man in the Fire, the Johnny Cash song appearing on the albums The Holy Land and Unearthed. 1974. The Sly and the Family Stone song, Loose Booty, featuring the 3 brothers' names as its central hook. 1977. The Congo song, La La Bam Bam, mentions the 3 men. 1979. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Survival, We're the Survivors, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, thrown in the fire but never get burned. 1980. The Twinkle Brothers song, Never Get Burned, mentions the brothers, along with Daniel and Jonah, as figures protected from harm. 1989. The Beastie Boys song, Shadrach, which samples the Sly Stone vocal hook. 2010. The Shad song, A Good Name, off his third LP TSOL, delves into the roots of the Canadian MC's namesake and reflects on the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego story as a source of pride. 2012. The VIAF song, Into the Fire, refers to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and seeing the fourth man in the fire. 2014. The Jen Larson song, Fourth Man in the Fire, from the bluegrass album, Burning House featuring Andy Statman and Noam Pikelny. Television 1995. The VeggieTales episode, Rack, Shack, and Benny, tells a version of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego with Bob the Tomato, Junior Asparagus and Larry the Cucumber, respectively, playing the title roles. 2013. Segment of the episode, Survival, in the miniseries The Bible. 2002. Segment in Trailer Park Boys. Season 2, Episode 5, The Bible Pimp. A fake preacher says, just as Jesus traveled from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we travel trailer park to trailer park spreading the word.